Okay. So welcome to the Sandy Parks and Trails Advisory Board meeting. Tonight is Wednesday, March 8th. Glad to have everybody here. Hope we all are just loving all that snow we keep getting. Yay. First on our agenda tonight is consent agenda. Oh, sorry, roll call. Chelsea, can you do roll call?
Yeah. Alexandria, I believe I heard she was running a little bit late, so hopefully she joins us. Ryan.
Present.
David Breams. No David yet. Don Robertson.
Present.
Kimberly.
Present.
Upekla.
Here, present.
Will.
I'm here.
Lori.
Here.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Great. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from our February 8th meeting? I have. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Anybody?
I motion that we approve the minutes from last month.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Excellent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Does anybody want to request any changes to the agenda tonight?
No, Don, but I'd like to thank everybody for making the last minute changes for me that we did via email. I appreciate it very much. It came out super clear. So thank you, Chelsea and team.
Excellent. All righty. With that, we have public comment period. We do have one member of the public who is here to speak about the community campus project, so we'll save him until we get to there, which is next. Is there anybody else with any public comment? I sure don't see any. No? Okay. Okay. Old business, community campus park improvements. Rochelle, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, I would love to. So, well, tonight we have Brian and Kurt and Maddie with us, and they're becoming familiar faces. So welcome to, I believe this is our third Parks Board meeting regarding the community campus project. And so tonight, the team's going to talk about the second open house. They'll talk about some of the information they gleaned from the focus groups, input regarding the 3 different concepts. And then we'll talk a little bit about the second online survey that we've just wrapped up actually today. And we've conducted quite a few meetings since the last time that we've convened as a Parks Board. And it's been anything from focus groups to, we had again our second open house. We've met with the council. We did several focus groups for the skate park and bike pump track, both in person and virtual. We had a focus group with Sandy Vista and a focus group that was held at the senior center for our seniors. And then several project advisory committee meetings along the way as well. So I would say that Brian and Maddie and Kurt are earning their paycheck. So thank you for that. It's been busy. And yeah, so I'll hand it over to them for our review of what we've been up to. So
great. Well, thank you, Rochelle. No, it's really been exciting since we last met, and recalling that meeting, I think we may have just wrapped up the very first online survey, certainly the first open house, and we hadn't quite gotten into putting together the three concepts. So certainly we worked hard on that along with ARC. And as Rochelle mentioned, have had a number of meetings with the PAC, City Council to review those options. Our recent open house, which was postponed because of snow, to last Monday. And then we just wrapped up the second online survey. So what I'd like to do tonight is to give you a brief review of the 3 different concepts that we have presented. We do have information that we want to share with you that is beginning to have us lean towards one of the particular concepts to develop. So certainly want to get your feedback and share information with you. So maybe with that, I'll share my screen. And I will see. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll go through each of the concepts. And some of these may be familiar with you if you either participated on the online survey or if you were at the first or rather the last open house. So I'll just kind of briefly go through these and I'll start off with the plan view, and then we have a 3D image of the skate park and pump track, and then Maddie, maybe you could briefly just talk a little bit about that. So each of the concepts have a name, which I think kind of speak towards the idea that we are trying to represent in the different concepts. The first one we're calling the meander. And it's about this park design that has a very kind of fluid form. In some ways, it kind of reminds us of the Sandy River, of this kind of riverine kind of like pathway, and the skate park, pump track, the different activities kind of follow along that kind of fluid spine. Beginning off of Meinig Street, we have a parking lot, which actually has an entrance off of Meinig and also Scenic. So 2 ways to get into the parking lot. Totally, we have about 40 spaces right now, with another 10 spaces that are on Meinig Street. As you enter the parking lot, there is a plaza area, which will be concrete. It's kind of shown in a sand color right now. We're showing a planting area, a shelter, and then also a restroom and perhaps some picnic tables in there. And as you know from being out there, that's that kind of upper plateau area. So you really have a really kind of nice view of the park in general. If you decide to take the pathway either from Meinig or coming off that little plaza space, directly to the south, which is right here, is the play area. And what's really kind of nice about this one is that it's kind of nestled in this hillside. This is Sandy Net right here. An opportunity for a hillside slide or ways to kind of bring that kind of woodland kind of into the play area, which we think has really a lot of opportunities. And then as you make your way down along this kind of winding path, there is the skate park, which is kind of situated kind of at the lower end of that kind of small embankment. So perfect area for kids, adults, everyone to really kind of sit and watch the activities on the skate park. And then there's the pump track that kind of makes its way along this kind of open grass area. The pathway continues. We feel it's really important to make that connection to the Sandy River Trail, the future trail. And then there's another kind of arced pathway along here. Dawn asked probably the most important question at the second open house, and that was how many linear feet is this if you were to kind of walk it? And so it is actually a 1/4 mile. So 4 times around and you hit a mile. So I think that's really good to know. There's that kind of open embankment here. We're thinking about future access, whatever may happen up here, how people can make their way down to the park itself. So with that, I'll just go to the next slide, and Maddie, maybe you could talk a little bit about it just for orientation. Here's that kind of upper parking lot, the shelter, that kind of embankment that kind of looks down here.
Awesome. Thank you, Kurt. Yeah, so this was one of 3 concepts that we put together for the open house last week. So we just wanted to give the community, kind of a 3D image so that they could really picture what this facility might look like in the park and kind of get an idea of, Kurt was talking about there's that nice slope where you could hang out and watch the skaters. So you really can kind of visualize that here. A lot of feedback we heard from the first survey was they really like skate parks that felt like they were a part of the park where, kids could sit and watch their brother or their dad, or moms could sit and watch their kids. So I think this kind of really lends to that, with that slope there being a natural place where you can just gather and hang out. And then you'll see we kind of have the pump track that goes off to the side. It connects through the more transition style of the skate park. So this again was, kind of the preferred option among the bikers. They really liked this layout. And then we also included some of these like bike jump lines to get down from the parking lot to the pump track. And we're looking at ways of incorporating that even further into the existing trail system.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Maddie. Yeah, no, really exciting to see this in 3D. The second option we called the plateau. It was really about creating, I think, a kind of a larger gathering area in that kind of upper flat area. We have the same parking lot. It hugs Meinig a little bit more. We don't show access off of Scenic, just off of Meinig. And then a larger plaza area here. And this one, actually, the shelter is combined with the restroom. There's a little raised area, which we were calling a pioneer garden, which might have some plant species that the pioneers originally brought over. The play area is kind of in this kind of larger open area. And by pushing it out, we've had to take that kind of slope and push it out a little bit farther into this green space right here. We still have that trail or that walkway that kind of winds down through here. You may recall, I think when we were originally talking about the project, we have about 25 to 30 feet of grade change from Meinig all the way down. So this is this kind of gentle sloping pathway that brings visitors down, and then a smaller loop around here with the connection to Sandy Net. So this one really kind of makes more of this area, and then pushes the skate park and the pump track over here to the southern portion of the site.
Yep, so this second option, again, you can kind of see to the right of the skate park, we're still trying to play with that elevation to give a nice area for families to sit and watch. So this one is kind of tucked back more in the corner, and we don't have it kind of shown on this rendering, but we really wanted to play with the trees back there. So we actually included kind of that top view. You can see more of a single track bike trail that just takes advantage of what you guys have at the park. So again, this is a skate park. It's got more of a street style focus. We have the bowl, and then again, transitioning into the pump track.
And then the last option that we shared with everyone, we called the meadow. And I think it was really more about having this kind of, I guess, larger green space and having a pathway that may be reminiscent of the track that's out there. With this particular option, we have a parking area that still has 40 spaces, but the main entrance is off of Scenic. So it doesn't have an entrance off of Meinig. It has a smaller plaza area right next to the parking lot, and actually kind of creates a number of small kind of plaza areas that are either associated with the play area that's down at the bottom of the slope or up near the skate park. In order to make this one work in terms of accessibility, what we're showing is a connection off of Meinig, and then a series of stairs or steps down to this lower area, and then a switchback ramp that provides accessibility down in here. Again, a trail connection to the Sandy River Trail. And then by making this a little bit more compact, we're putting the skate park essentially where it is right now. And then there is a grade change coming down to this lower area. What Maddie was describing before about some of these other kind of bike trails, this one we're showing through the woodland that brings you down to that lower area.
Yep, so this is the third design that we put together. And again, it's really kind of playing on that elevation change that's at the park. And, this skate park would be, similar, same location that it's at right now. The park here shows a good mix of, some transition and street, and then, kind of a fun, unique path that skaters can take to get down to that pump track. So it's a little bit more separated, not as combined as the other two options that we put together.
Thanks, Maddie. So I'll go into the survey results, but maybe I'll just back up for a second and say that at the open house, and I think in general with the focus groups, there seems to be a consensus with the option, this is what we're calling option 1, the meander, in terms of the trail system, having something that meanders, that kind of recalls the Sandy River, the way that the skate park and the pump track are very similar in terms of being fluid. Everyone, I think, really kind of liked this idea of the play area kind of nestled in the hillside right here. And I think that's then reflected in the survey results, where, I'll just kind of briefly go through this, but we have each of the different park options. It's a little bit, on first kind of glance, is a little bit hard to figure out, but what it is saying is for the meander, number 5 is people love it, and number 1 is not a fan at all. So the meander had the largest number of 5s. You can see that here was the largest number of 4s, and it graduates down. So the meander was a preference in terms of the overall park design. In terms of the skate park, again, the meander was a favorite. Pump track, the meander was a favorite. You know, here we have the 4s and here we have 3s in terms of the way people reacted to the options. Location within the park, it was the meander. Parking lot configuration, it was a meander. If this was an election, it might, I don't know if you call it a landslide, but I think a lot of people really preferred that. I think which play area location, it was the meander. Gathering arrangement. So with this one, I think people like the meadow, which is had smaller areas that were more spread out. Walking paths, meander, and that was the end of the survey. So there's two more slides I just wanted to share with you before we'd love to hear your comments. One is I think as you gathered from the online survey and the public open house, this was the preferred option. Certainly, I think there is more work to be done. ARC and Lango Hansen and city staff are working with this as a framework to further refine it. And to that end, we've been also thinking about how we can create a master plan for some things that we know we maybe can't afford during this initial phase. Either future grant opportunities, fundraising, ways to continue to make this an incredible asset for the city of Sandy and the region. And so I just wanted to go through a couple of these things that we're thinking that could be part of a future effort. Certainly, there's been talk about the skate park and the pump track. If money were to become available as a future phase, those could be expanded. And so we just want to make sure that whatever we're doing right now doesn't preclude that expansion. Certainly, the idea of having a cover as part of the skate park and make it an all-weather area. If you do decide to add these additional amenities, if you needed new parking, creating a parking lot that you could add to it if you needed to in the future. Certainly this upper campus, as it becomes developed, thinking about how we create pedestrian connections down to this lower area, additional bike trails that could really make this an incredible place to visit. And also thinking about picnic shelters, if we can't afford them in the first phase. Certainly we want to have the main one, but additional ones could be part of a future phase as well. So we just wanted to let you know we're not only thinking about the short term and this construction, but we're also thinking long term in terms of the future park development as well. So with that, I'd love to hear any comments or questions, anything that you have for us or ARC or the city staff.
Peck, I see your hand raised. We also have a citizen with us that wanted to make comments. I think what we'll probably do, Peck, if you can hang on for just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and allow Minty an opportunity to speak. Minty, are you still with us?
I am here.
Excellent. Didn't give up on us. Great.
No,
Okay.
no, this is great. Very interesting.
Would you like to take an opportunity to share your thoughts?
Sure. Kurt, are you able to allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, I think Chelsea might.
Yeah, it's enabled. You can do so.
Okay. Let's see here. Is everybody there?
I got the agenda on mine.
Okay. This is really, oh, I can't see my, there we go. Make this full screen. Sorry, I'm not fully prepared here, but I tried to throw something together so there's a visual. Anybody here who is at the city council meeting, I'm sorry if you're hearing this again, but I'd love to introduce our group to Don and everyone else on the Parks Board. We are the Skaters of Sandy. So
Is there, just take a minute, hang on. I'm getting, the only graphic I have on my screen is our agenda tonight. Is there another, am I missing something?
Are you guys not seeing?
Seeing your
Sometimes
screen,
when you-
it's just not, I don't think it's the content you're looking for, Minty.
Yeah, sometimes when you share, you have to share the actual application, not just. You might be doing that.
Okay, I'll try one more time. Whiteboard, iPhone. There we go. There's the application. Now we're cooking with grease, as they say. Is that right?
There we go.
Bingo,
That's it.
bingo.
Wonderful. Okay, so you probably wonder. I was wondering who we are. We're the Skaters of Sandy, and we are skateboarders. And I'm sure you all have, you know, your preconceived notions of who skaters are. We're punks and vandals and troublemakers. That's kind of, you know, the stereotypical rap that skaters have gotten over time. But a lot of things have changed, and skateboarding is now globally respected. It's the newest sport in the Olympics, one of the most popular. And you know, you guys already know this. You're putting your best foot forward, and this is really exciting to be a part of this project. I just also wanted to kind of share a little bit of where skateboarding is going and the kind of people that you can expect to be using this park and the facilities. There are all types of organized contests and activities that kind of travel around the country and make stops at skate parks of high caliber. We've got the Dew Tour. There are contests that are specific for Oregon and skateboarding. There's a national Go Skate Day. Every June 21st is Go Skate Day. And it really drives the point that skateboarders are a really connected community. We kind of travel to skate good parks. And good parks are not just well designed, but they're well maintained, and they are inclusive. They welcome all types of users. And as the Skaters of Sandy, the advocacy group, that is, you know, our main goal is to represent the Skaters of Sandy and really be a voice as we're designing this park. And then once that is up and running, to kind of try to help continue to be a voice in the activations that happen there, helping to maintain the park. And something that Kurt was talking about today that I really like hearing, it's something that we've been pushing for, is that idea of future phasing and growing and kind of imagining what our park could be. Our current skate park is about 9,000 square feet. And we're looking at a phase one skate park of about 13,000 feet, which is a great improvement. But our group has been advocating for getting as much room as we can, building as large a skate park as possible.
Hey, Minty, you got about 30 seconds left.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sorry.
I can see here we got, you know, we're not just young white males, people of all generations and ability levels are skating. Something we've been pushing for, again, is an area that might cater more to beginners. And these guys had mentioned something about covers and kind of a beginner's area. So I sketched something up that kind of gives an idea of something that can be incorporated into future phases. And, in the interest of time and running out of it, just want to say that I'm happy to be included in this conversation. We are all happy and excited about this, and we look forward to work through the rest of this process with you all. Now you know my name, and you'll be receiving emails from us, and hopefully I'll be talking in more detail. So Lango Hansen and ARC, thanks very much for all of the great new designs that we're seeing, and thanks to everybody at Parks and Rec City Council for taking this into consideration. Thanks for giving me some time tonight.
Minty.
Sorry about the technical problems.
That's okay. Hey, thank you very much for being with us. You're welcome to stay with us while we continue our discussions. It's not a round table, so I can't invite you to participate, but if anybody has any specific questions of you, they might want to ask you questions. So I would encourage you to hang in there with us for a little bit longer if you wish, and we'll see how things go. Alex and David, welcome. Glad you guys could join us. With that, I believe Peck had her hand up earlier. Peck, what you have to say?
I was just curious whether I know that it's probably not exact, but between the three options, whether the elements of the park, the big elements, the pump track, the skate park, maybe the playground gathering area, are they about the same square footage? Because you didn't have those metrics on your other slides.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, now I'm sharing. I'll just speak for ARC. I think, yes, generally the pump track, the skate park, those were roughly the same size, option to option. The play area varied just slightly. I think as we are taking a look at this particular scheme right here, we're looking at enlarging it slightly. But I think for all intents and purposes, we try to keep the same size for same number of parking spaces, same play area, pump track, as they went from option to option.
Does that answer your question, Peck? Peck?
Sorry, I nodded instead of unmuting myself. Yes.
Well, I couldn't see it.
Yeah, that answered my question. And just want to comment, I have not been able to just due to work schedules, make any of the open houses, but I do like the meander. So I'm in agreement with the majority, I guess. And I'm a fan of the native garden. So perhaps we can incorporate that as a city at some point.
Good.
Very nice. Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, I did, Don, thanks. Hey, Kurt, thanks for the presentation. Appreciate it. Mitty, thanks for being here. And good seeing you again, Maddie. With the plateau, there was a really cool kind of switchback. I'm a big advocate of mobility issues. I believe it was on the plateau.
Oh, I think it might. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, make you dizzy, but I think so.
Yeah, and I know the other one. I know the other one is to code, but the challenge. Sometimes there's a visual challenge, especially wheelchair people or walking with a cane, and the visual challenge is diminished with a switchback. Is there anywhere that could be incorporated into the meander?
So when you talk about, is your preference to have a switchback, or
to a mobility challenged person, generally a switchback is visually less scary than a straight line, even if the slopes are the same. This is just from experience. So not personally, but as a caregiver, and it's just a visual challenge. So it's just kind of an open question. Is there any possibility in the design element of the meander where that could be a switchback rather than, it's a long, I imagine that is the slope of that long curved part from the entrance down to the lower area, is that the same slope as the switchback?
Yes, it's all less than 5%, so it's not even really considered a ramp. And so what we tried to do with this particular one is we wanted to, you know, at various places, make sure that there's full accessibility to the plaza area, you know, even the skate park, the play area, whether it's up here or lower down here. So that worked best with something that was a little bit more fluid coming through here. I don't know if we tested out the switchback on this one, but I think it might be difficult to actually incorporate that in this particular area. But what we've tried to do with them is not have one long slope, but we'll have landings or kind of resting spots. So, you know, even with kind of a slight incline, there will be flat spots along the way as people make their way down.
That's a big advantage, right? Because I just need to make it to the next flat, and that's, you know,
Yeah,
a 4-foot vertical and 10 feet away, so, or whatever the metrics are. And then back to Peck's question, is the playground in particular, it just seemed a little bit small. What was the answer? Are they the same size, or are they?
Yeah, this one, and I apologize if I didn't make it clear. On this one, it is smaller than this one, just by, you know, this one I think reads a little bit bigger. It's just a pure circle. But what we're looking at right now is, as we refine this option, is actually to make this one a little bit bigger. We do have some room back over in here in this area to kind of nestle it into the hillside a little bit more. So that's something that we're working on right now.
Can I ask one question? It looks like we had someone on an iPhone join just a few minutes ago. We just want to see who that is.
Oh, please.
Might be me, Mike from BDK Board Shop. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Mike. Welcome to our meeting.
Hi. Yeah, I was trying to get the Zoom loaded in, so I didn't know how well it was going to work on my iPhone.
Not a problem. You're joining us in progress. We've already had we're talking about the community park, the community campus park. We've had a presentation from Kurt, Lango Hansen and ARC. We had a citizen, Minty, share his thoughts regarding some of the skate park issues. And I didn't know if you wanted to take a moment to share any thoughts with us.
Has there been a decision on which plan is being set forward, or is it still 3 different options?
You know, at this point, it's the 3 different options, but the general consensus that we've seen that we've learned about tonight, both in the surveys and also from the comments received in the various presentations and public meetings, have strongly favored the meander, which is on the screen. Well, if you're on an iPhone, you probably can't see it, but it's on the screen for us right now. That seems to be the overall general consensus at this point in time.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's I can zoom in on that and see that fine. I think that's the one that I had understood as everyone leaning toward.
Yeah, it's certainly been the most popular.
Yeah, I didn't really get to hear what Minty's sort of like our Speaker of the House for a group of fellows here for the Skaters of Sandy, and but you know.
Well, you're welcome to stay with us, and you know, this is our business meeting, so it's conducted a little bit more formally than what you know, open houses or different types of activities like that. So if you want to, you know, provide testimony, now would be the time. Otherwise, you're welcome to listen, or if anybody has any questions of you specifically, they will ask them.
Okay, well, without knowing what's already been said, I'll just put it out there that, you know, for the skate park, whatever the square footage ends up being, you know, and if there's a phase 1 or phase 2, I don't know what's already been discussed or not, you know, the more the better for the kids to get out there. And that also provides a beginner to advanced level. I think we've all pretty much been saying that same thing. So,
Well, I think you're singing the tune that Menti was sharing with us also.
yeah.
Okay. I thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening. Very much
Thanks.
appreciated. And like I said, I would encourage you to hang around for a while if you would like to.
Sure. Yeah, I'll listen in.
Okay. Okay, continuing on with our discussion. Let's see, Will, were you done?
Yeah, I did, Kurt, I did have a kind of a question on the poll survey results, and I guess it should be no surprise, right? It's when we did our open houses, like just back last year with what people wanted to see, you know, pump track and skate park were right up there. And so it makes sense that they would like this, because the scale of it to me seems, and I don't know square footage wise, but it just seems bigger. I just want to make sure that we're not losing sight of the entire community, you know, either because I'm not myself, but I'm not internet savvy, or I'm not, you know, getting out there. But I just don't want to end up with a park that fits everybody's needs. But I guess it's no surprise that if our needs were number 1 and 2 were pump track and skate park, that I would be going for this plan. And I'm not against it. I'm just kind of, maybe I'm just stating the obvious and sorting through it while I'm talking, and it is what it is. But I just wanted to put that out there. So yeah, I'm done, Don. Thanks.
Okay. Ryan, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with us?
I do not. I'm really excited with the meander. I really like those plans. Thank you for sharing, Kurt.
Thank you. Kim, any thoughts?
Nope. I think the meander was my favorite of the 3 also, so I'm glad to see that it's going ahead.
Very, very good. All righty, Alex.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I have the same thoughts. I love the meander specifically because of the entrances that surround it. So I think that'd be great for you know, emergency vehicles as well as just us in general. But other than that, I love the layout and what it's going to have to offer.
Very good. And David, do you have any thoughts for us?
No, I mean, I was, you know, what do you call it? I know which one you guys are going for. I was really interested in the plateau, but I mean, they're all going to do the job. So I'm just happy to see that we're actually doing something with the property.
I second your thoughts on that one, that's for sure. My feelings on it, I do prefer the meander. My second place was the plateau. My third one was also ran at the meadow. I like how this lays out very nicely. You know, if we could squeeze a few more square footage feet into the playground, I think that'd be wonderful. I had a comment at one of the meetings, the last open house, where I suggested that maybe the bathroom and move a little bit closer to the playground, so that if you have 2 kids, one in the playground and one in the bathroom, you can kind of split the difference and keep an eye on both of them somewhat. So that was my only real question on that. I know from experience that after this gets all approved and they begin working on construction documents and different things, that there will be slight modifications. Happens every single time. Suddenly something gets a few extra square feet, or something has to lose a couple of square feet. That's just kind of the way things work out. That when you start actually putting the final documents together, things have to sometimes shift a little bit because it's of grade differences or one thing or another. I do have some pet peeves that I'll kind of share with the group, and that's I don't like line corners of lawn. That's from too many years of doing maintenance myself. That you know, where you're going in, you have kind of a corner that you mow into and have to back out. That creates a redundancy that really slows you down, and also creates some hazards for anybody that might be behind you. But those are things I can kind of share with Kurt as we get into some of the finer details, or as the design moves into the construction document phases of it. But overall, I'm really excited. I think we're going to have a wonderful park. I think that Lango Hansen and ARC have done a great job of getting people out to communicate with us and share their thoughts. I'm really excited to see if this can get some funding from a grant. And I'm thrilled to be a part of seeing this project come to fruition. So that's my comments, my 2 cents worth there. So Rochelle, what do you need from us? Is there any formal action on this, or do you want us to move into the next topic of business, which is letters of support?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely, it seems like an easy transition if we want to talk about the next agenda item, because it directly piggybacks what we're talking about. So if you want me to tee that up, I can.
I think we should.
Okay.
Well, before you do that, just one last chance. Has everybody had a chance to share their thoughts as far as board members? Any other questions? Last questions? All righty, Rochelle, not seeing anything, so let's go ahead and move forward.
Perfect. Okay. Well, so one of the reasons that we've been running towards a timeline of April 1st is a grant that we will be applying for. And Lango Hansen has been helping us with the verbiage, and we're getting close to a draft. And one of the things that's required is various letters of support from the community. And so far we've received a letter of support from one of our legislators. The chamber has provided a letter of support. We're working on, we've got a letter from Sandy Vista, and I know I'm forgetting a few, but I would like the Parks Board to discuss and consider providing a letter of support for the park project that we can submit to this local government grant, which is managed by the Oregon Park and Recreation Department. And the second item that goes along with that, to apply for the grant, we also need the council to provide a resolution that authorizes us to apply for the grant. And on March 20th, we'll be bringing that resolution before the council. And it would be great if the Parks Board just simply said, yes, we support the department writing this grant. And so those are the 2 action items. I'll turn it back over to Dawn. In the staff report, there was some motion language available. So after the discussion, if you want an example of some motion language, and then there were 2 letters that were attached to the staff report. The one was the draft of the letter of support that we'll supply to for the grant. And then the other one is something we'll submit to the council that shows that you support us applying for authorizing us to apply for the grant. So with that, Dawn, I'll give it back to you and see what the Parks Board thinks.
Great. Does anybody have any comments regarding those letters? Has everybody had a chance to read the letters? Yeah, I see kind of a couple of head bobs and nods there. Yeah. Is everybody comfortable with those letters? Okay. I'll be happy to sign them, but I do need a motion and approval to direct me to sign the letters. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that the Parks Board sign 2 letters. The first letter is a letter of support regarding the park project, and the second letter is encouraging the council to approve the resolution to apply for the grant.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
All righty. Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? No?
I have nothing.
All righty. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? What was that?
I think that was in a post.
Was there an opposed?
That was Noelle saying aye, okay?
Oh,
Oh, okay, that was an I. Okay.
very good.
She just wants to be a part of the conversation.
Excellent. Yeah.
Apparently there is public comment now.
I hope we got that on the record. It's certainly on the tape, so that's great. All righty, motion carries. Rochelle, you want to have those prepared, and I'll be happy to sign those.
Okay. I'll get that to you. Yep.
All righty. Next item on the agenda then is discarded fishing line hooks and tackle concerns. Rochelle?
Great. I am actually going to hand this over to Tiana, our park and facilities manager, and she put together the staff report and has been problem solving this. And so I'll hand it off to her. And if you want to take it away, Tiana.
Hello, everybody. So we had a report of a concern about the amount of fishing line and trash that was down at the Sandy River access if you go down the Sandy River Trail and get down to the river. This week, my team and we went down there and we did quite a bit of cleanup and just took a look and saw what was going on. We removed a lot of the trash and a lot of the fishing line and scoped out some areas where we might be able to place sorry, I'm also looking for a photo to share with you. Share. Let's see if that's going to work. Can you see my photo?
I see a Zoom.
Really quick, isn't that Clackamas County property?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
It is, well,
And David, that's a good question. In the staff report, there's a map that we provided that shows city-owned property and then where our property stops and where the county owns the property. So it's a nice visual that shows what we own. So,
Was that an email attachment that I got?
there we go. Now,
yep, part of the agenda packet. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
there we go. Now, can you see that photo?
Got it.
Sorry. Okay, so
That's
this is
okay.
the last signpost that we have as you go down the Sandy River Trail. And it is just at the top of where the trail does a little bit of a switchback to get down to the river. And what I would like to do is on the side of the post, one of the sides that already has a sign on it, I would like to place a leave no trace sign there. And then on this long side of the post where there is nothing currently there, we would mount the fishing line recycling bin that was a photo provided in the staff report of that, which we already have it assembled, and I'm waiting for the stickers to arrive, which will communicate with citizens, asking them to reel it in and recycle, and they'll be able to put discarded fishing line and tackle in there, but asking that they don't place trash in there. This is pretty far down and not very accessible. It would take my staff a lot of time to be servicing this on a high frequency basis. But if we can get this recycling bin down there, it's something that we can go in probably once a month and empty, and it should be able to help alleviate that concern that we have down there. So right now we're proposing that we install this and then monitor and see if it starts helping address the concerns and problems that we're having down there. Does any, the budgetary impacts were very minimal. It was $84, just under $85 to build the receptacle. The stickers are free. They offer those free to encourage building these receptacles. So those are on their way. And the leave no trace sign has also been ordered and should be here shortly.
Very good.
Can I answer any other questions or concerns about this?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a certain concern with my years with the scouts. I can say just putting a receptacle down there and telling people not to put trash in it never really seems to work. I mean, look at all the fairs and festivals of all the recycling bins and stuff that we have around that says no trash, cans and bottles only, and every year they're picking out trash and picking out, raw food and stuff out of them to get to the cans. So I'm not very positive on just putting a sign down there asking someone for no trash. I mean, that typically doesn't work.
Tiana, the ones that I've seen in different places are a much, and I apologize, I did not see a picture of it in the packet this evening. And that's probably my fault on that one. But the ones I've seen in the past are like a PVC pipe with a slot that you can actually push stuff into, and it drops down, and then they remove the bottom and pull stuff out of it. So it's a pretty
Yes.
narrow opening. Is that what
Yes,
you
Don,
have?
that's exactly what it is. It kind of resembles a candy cane. It's a 4-inch diameter PVC pipe.
Does it have a restricted opening so people can't shove a lot of crap into it?
Yes, it's not very wide opening, so they can't put large pieces of trash in there.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get to the staff report quickly and not waste a bunch of your time.
It's okay. While you're doing that, Will, what are your thoughts on this? You were the one who suggested this. Is this
Yeah,
what you had?
so Tiana, love the effort. The turnaround time was awesome. Low budget, good solution. You know, I would have preferably seen something on the river bank rather than at the top of the, I don't know what that is, a couple hundred vertical feet above it. But still, I mean, it's quick. We're getting it in there. It's accessible. I understand the access problem with emptying it if it is riverbank, and we'll see what the impact is. I mean, hopefully and especially the effort that you guys went down and actually cleaned up the riverbank. I mean, that gives us a clean starting point. So, it's funny when you see a tin can on the side of the road, you go back the next day, there's 2 tin cans, you go back a week later, there's a mattress, right? So when you keep it clean, it's a good starting point, and I don't know if it's guilt or whatever. So I love it. I want to applaud you on the quick turnaround. We'll see how it pans out with the location. I'm just was hoping for something more stream side, but this is awesome. So thanks a lot.
And I'm willing to look into putting some more stream side. Sorry. I'm a little worried about the change in flow. I don't know myself how high the water gets down there, where we could actually place them. So maybe we can work with some local residents and have some discussions about that and see if there's somewhere we can place it and not have it get washed away or eroded and have it come loose. We would need to sink some new posts down there. I don't want to bind anything around a tree.
Right.
So
yeah, and we don't want to impede the flow either, because if we put something in there and the water does rise, it will start trapping debris against it too. And by debris, I mean, sticks and brush and different things.
Line. I love the effort too. Big fan. And yeah, I understand all the issues and concerns, but you got to try something. You have to start somewhere. So, and I like the idea that you guys are going to be monitoring it, because of course you won't know if it's not going to work or not.
I was actually, there was trash down there. There was definitely trash. We pulled some sleeping bags out, but it wasn't as bad as I was worried that it could be. There was a lot of fishing line, as Will had mentioned. We took a lot of fishing line out, and I think we'll end up finding more. It's really embedded and ingrained in the beach down there, but we removed a lot.
I imagine during a low water period, you'll find even more.
Hey,
yes.
Tiana, did you guys cross, I guess it would be East Cedar Creek on the other side, or is that out? And I really couldn't tell from the map because I don't know which blue line is Cedar Creek, but I think it is the one inside the boundary. Cedar Creek, the one from the hatchery. I believe that should be the one that's parallel to the Sandy River and then comes into the green just in the right hand. Yeah, exactly.
Is this our trail?
I'm not sure if they're trails or streams. That's a good point.
The blue, I believe, is the streams that come down, but then that
It's in
doesn't
the-
show the trail really coming down and showing what it really does. If I
There's
have
almost,
my
there's almost,
bearings right, I feel like the signpost that I was proposing is it gonna be kind of in this area here. And then it does a little switchback and comes down in here, and the creeks are kind of coming down and flowing along. And then it also kind of comes in right through here. And we worked kind of all this section here and picked up a lot of fishing line and tackle and debris.
Yeah, I believe you're correct, Tiana, because when you get down to that lower level by Sandy River, there's that switchback that has the creek that's adjacent right to it as you head away and then back down towards the river. So your bearings seem right.
And we're gonna go back to, we didn't finish quite removing all this because we had reports of down trees and we just ran out of time to be down there. So we're gonna revisit the area again if anybody can get it to stop snowing.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
more.
All righty, any other comments regarding this? Not hearing any, let's go ahead and move on. Tiana, good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your work, and I look forward to a future report on how that goes down there.
Thank you.
Okay, Rochelle, 7.3.
All right.
Park advisory meeting start times.
Yes. So we took a poll and the question was, do we want to keep our meetings at 7, change them to, I believe it was 6 or 5:30? And we, of this results that we had, 5 individuals voted for 6 and 2 individuals voted for 5:30. And then almost everybody said their least favorite option was 7 o'clock. So having gathered this data from the group, I would like to, turn it back over to Dawn that we know that the favored time is 6 p.m. If it's the wish of the Parks Board to switch to 6 p.m., we can start that as soon as next month. But Dawn, I'll let you make that official decision.
Doesn't matter to me what time we start. I am perfectly happy to give 6 a go if everybody else is comfortable with that. We'll see how it works. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, let's try this.
I will just say one comment. I will try to make it every time, but I'm usually at soccer. So
Okay.
and especially on Wednesdays. So it's the day and time that's tricky right now. I think I
Okay.
might be the only one that might not have done the survey at the time because I was gone.
Okay, well, let's give her a go for a week or for a couple of months and see how it works. We can always go back if it doesn't work out, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know what will happen. So we will see.
Okay, thanks. All righty, staff reports.
Okay, I'll go first and then we can end with Tiana if you have a report. But 2 major things to report on. The first one, just wanted to give the group an update that we did send a letter to the Oregon Trail School District regarding pickleball. And we received a response back, and I just wanted to give you a heads up on what that response was. They did reiterate that the pickleball courts at Cedar Ridge were available during non-school hours and during outside of like activities or functions, and if there's not other recreation or sports planned for those courts. So they did respond reiterating that. Our idea about potentially doing something at the high school courts, the answer to that was they're highly used for tennis and other functions, and that wouldn't be something that they would consider. And they wished us luck that if we could find some courts in our system to add in the future, that they would root for us. So that is, we did send that and we did receive a response. So, yep. And then
Very charitable report, Rochelle.
Very what? I'm sorry.
Charitable.
Yeah.
Wasn't the main issue not that the people were going in there while the school activities were happening, but just that the courts weren't open when they weren't, or that they weren't open when they were supposed to be available?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, John. Yeah.
They pretty much chose to ignore that.
Okay. Yeah, the gate access was the big problem, right, with the new electronic gate.
Yeah. They did not acknowledge that issue.
And then the second item, just wanted to report on. So I would guess probably about 6 months ago, we were working on our system development charges and our fee in lieu. And we were working on updating our methodology. And one of the items that with the new, we've got a new council, we've got a new counselor. And so there's just some items that have come up that the council would like to revisit. And one of the items that they've discussed revisiting is the SDC and fee in lieu. And that item is tentatively scheduled for the March 20th council agenda. And the reason I wanted to give the Parks Board a heads up is because your group was very heavily involved in the beginning when we were talking about what this means for our Parks and Recreation Department as far as future park development, the purchase of land acquisition for what could potentially be baseball fields someday. And with this being revisited, I'm not 100% sure the direction that the council is going to take, but it is something that the Parks Board should be aware of, that it is something that will be revisited. And Dawn and Alex, as the chair and the co-chair, if you feel strongly and would like to learn a little bit more, or perhaps hear how it goes on the 20th and become engaged again. I know Dawn, originally you had testified when we brought this to the council originally, but I am working on a staff report that will chart out what we've done, how did we get to where we got to, and what does this actually mean for us as a department? And one of the big things to consider with the SDCs, there's probably a compromise somewhere there that the council will feel good about. And for us, it's important because if we were to lose even the current level that we are at with our SDCs, there's a question mark of, community campus, the park project. Right now we're relying heavily on SDCs to help fund that process and that project. Deer Point is potentially coming on board, and if we were to lose SDCs, we wouldn't be able to do the Deer Point Park. So there's some significant concerns there. And then one of the council goals moving forward for the next biennium is land purchase. And our fee in lieu pays for the purchase of land for future park development. And so that's also something that we're considering, and how to navigate that and build up our coffers with our fee in lieu so we can purchase park land and acquire those things that meet our levels of service as we grow as a community. So I wanted to give you guys a heads up that was coming up. And it was a little bit quicker than I had thought. Otherwise, it might be something, ideally, I would have liked to have brought this to the Parks Board for a discussion. But with it being March 20th, I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of it, because you had a definite vested interest the first round when we were doing the work with FCS to update our methodology. So those are my two updates. I'm not sure either one of those were very positive. Usually I'm like, concerts and movies and Fleetwood Mac. So, but yeah, I don't know if you have any questions, or I can just, Dawn, if you have any questions, otherwise I'll hand it off to Tiana to do her staff reports.
Go ahead.
All right, Tiana, it's all you.
The guys, we've been working hard on lots of snow removal and storm cleanup again. We had a tree come down out of the Tickle Creek natural space into a citizen's yard. And so we've worked with the citizen to resolve that and get that cleaned up to their liking. We have just finished the painting of the restrooms at Meinig Park today. And so they are drying the rest of this week, and they will reopen next week with a fresh coat of paint, looking very nice and clean. And then some exciting movement. We were able to work with Ant Farm and partner with Ant Farm to bring on an intern. And so we have an intern working with the department 1 day a week for 8 hours each week. And Ant Farm is helping fund that project for us. That's all I have this time.
Very, very good.
Speaking of natural spaces and stuff like that, I've been meaning to call Officer Moody on it, but We do have a abandoned car. I think the guy's actually living in it right here on DeBarco, parked in one of the parking pullouts for the Tickle Creek Trail. That's still Officer Moody, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Very good. Lori, I
Yeah,
see you giving me the finger there.
Yeah, thanks. David, just so you know, the council just passed a RV ordinance, which also tackles people camping or living in their cars. So Officer Moody should have some, and Sandy PD should have some good teeth if there is somebody that's basically living there, just so you know.
Yeah, because it's got a flat tire now, and I see them every single morning, you know, hanging out around there. Every once in a while I have a hood up, but I mean, it's getting worse by the day.
Okay. Yeah, give him a call.
Lori, you're on a roll. Do you have anything to share?
No, not really. Great meeting. I really enjoyed being up last week, going over all the proposed. I'd already seen them at council, but it's always fun to sit and chat with people and see what people have to say about the plans for the community campus. Council will be looking at the SDCs. I kind of had talked with Rochelle just briefly about that. I think there's a way to explain it to not lose those. So you know, probably your testimony, Dawn, if you feel so inclined, or anybody else's would be weighted heavily on some of that. So just kind of a heads up, because I mean, we need the parks. Everybody recognizes that. So anyway, thanks guys, good work. So if you got any questions of me, fire away. Otherwise.
All righty. Well, with that, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Minty, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with us tonight. Appreciate it. It's always nice to see citizens come out and hang in there beyond their topic. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks again for having me. It's always fascinating to see the wheels of the city turning.
Yeah, we're more like the training wheels over here. So anyway.
Thanks a lot.
I look forward to seeing everybody real soon. Rochelle, I'll be in contact with you regarding the 20th. Hey, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.